What if I told you you were looking for calm in all the wrong places? What is like the first thing that jumps to your mind? Like maybe wrong places? What do you mean by that? And I think as a mom, maybe you're asking yourself, like, is there a calm? Is there calm? Is there a calm place? And I'm here to tell you that there is. There absolutely is. But calm isn't found in a quiet room. You don't need to escape your life to find peace. You will not find more calm in me time or a cleaner house. Calm starts when you stop looking outside and feeling it inside. And yes, all of these things that I just mentioned, like a clean house and a great schedule and not wanting to escape your life, like all these things that I just mentioned, they will help you continue to carry that feeling of calmness. But you have to find it first. You have to go within, you have to find the calmness that you want. And so I just wanted to share with you a little bit today. I have my notes pulled up here because I didn't want to forget any of these points. But why do we struggle so much to find calm? And the first example that I want to give is I want you to look at how you were raised, what kind of household you lived in, and all of that. What was it like? Was it chaotic? Because if the answer was yes, then you have found a really cool clue as to why you are still living life in chaos and overwhelm and all of that. Because maybe you saw that. And as we know, the brain, familiar is calm. To the brain, the familiar is calm. Familiar is safe. Safe and calm. It makes us feel calm. Like it makes our brain think that we're going to find that calm because it's safe and it's familiar, but familiar is not calm. Familiar is safe to the brain. And so, if you had a chaotic life, a chaotic childhood, your mom was always overwhelmed, maybe she was working two jobs, maybe she was a single mom, um, maybe your dad was gone all the time. And so your mom was left at home, like picking up all the pieces, making sure everything was getting done, right? And so, you recreated that in your life because that is what is familiar to your brain. And so, it's going to recreate the same circumstances that feel familiar, which equals safe, right? And so, when we are living this way, we are in a constant state of like fight or flight. We are in this constant state. So when we're in fight or flight, what our body does is it just releases cortisol and it keeps our nervous system in high alert. It makes it really difficult to relax if you struggle like me to just relax, to sit down and do nothing. I really have a hard time with this. But it makes it really hard to relax and find inner peace. Your body is wired, literally wired. Your brain is wired to keep you in survival mode. And when you are living in high alert, when you're in a stress response, you're living in fight or flight, that is going to block any calm feelings that you are trying to bring in. And another thing that is like standing in your way of calm, peace, all of that serenity is an overactive mind. You are juggling too many tasks. If you look at the mental load that we carry as moms, we are constantly juggling tasks, responsibilities, trying to get our kids where they need to be. When we're trying to like sit down and just chill out, your brain is like, well, is that baseball uniform clean? Is that singlet washed? Did you get it cleaned? Do you have ringworm cream wherever it needs to be? Do you have wipes so that we don't get ringworm in the wrestling backpack? Do you like all the things, right? We are constantly carrying that in our mind, and that it makes it so hard to focus, so hard to relax because we're constantly stressing and worrying about what needs to be done. And ultimately, like, if you want the science behind this, this is like where the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that is responsible for our decision making, gets so overwhelmed when you're doing too much. It's like, have you ever heard of like decision fatigue? When you have made too many decisions in a day that you just cannot make another single decision, right? And so, let me just give you like solutions for some of these. So, the mental load, the overactive mind, and all of this, like the stress response that we're constantly in the state of, the overactive mind, the good solution for some of these is one, if you want to get out of your stress response, if you want to get your brain out of survival mode, breath work is a phenomenal tool that you can use, because what this does is it helps us bypass that cognitive mind that's driving us crazy and really tap in to that subconscious programming that we have. If you think of the subconscious mind, it's kind of like a computer and it runs off of programming. And so this is why when we run on autopilot in our days, right? When have you like really stopped to ask yourself the last time you were fully present? And it's because the subconscious mind is trying so hard to reserve your energy. So your days are running on autopilot. So if you're ever like, I just feel like I'm going through the motions, and then my head hits the pillow at night and I'm kind of like wondering what I got done, or I wake up every single morning and it's like 8 a.m. and I already feel like I'm behind. It's because you're in survival mode. You're not fully present. You are stressed out. Your mind is trying to juggle too many things. And so if you want out of this, breath work is what helps you kind of tap into that subconscious programming so that you can start to shift it. Because when you start to shift it, when you start to decide, how do I want life to feel? And you allow yourself to get into that state of calmness, this is what we do through breath work. And something else that I like to do through breath work is my breath work method. We do this a lot in the membership. So if you're not in the membership, this is like an incredible option for you. It's only $29 a month. Right now, I have a free 7-day trial that you can get into, but it is an active form of meditation. So if you're like me, I have tried so hard to meditate. I probably could try harder, but I just haven't had the desire to. But it is an active form. So instead of trying to focus on like pushing thoughts out of your mind and coming to like a place of like complete zen and just getting quiet, you have the breath to focus on. And I think that's why I loved it so much, is because one, it's science backed. Two, I didn't have to just like try to sit in silence. That made my nervous system feel really like antsy and nervous, to be honest. My nervous system felt nervous. Breath work, my brain, even to this day, I do it every single day. Even to this day, the first few minutes, my brain sometimes is like, why are we doing this again? This is so weird. Like all of the things, which is completely normal. But once you get through that and your brain starts to quiet because you've now bypassed that, oh my goodness, it is incredible. So I will share more about that in a minute. But the other solution to one of these, like the overactive mind juggling too many tasks, is get some tasks off your plate. You are wearing too many hats and you are carrying too much mental load. It is like you went to the buffet, you loaded up a plate full, and you sat down and now you cannot eat it all. And we do this to ourselves in life, especially in motherhood, because we think that it's our job to manage it all. We think that it's our duty, and it's not. And so, what we want to do is we want to get some of that food off of your buffet plate and into the hands of other people who are also hungry, right? Our kids might not be hungry for chores, but we're going to pretend for the sake of this example that they are. So, this is where my task chart comes in. I created a phenomenal task chart. And so, if you want to download that, I will drop a link to it in the show notes. But you can go into Canva and you can tweak it and change it to fit the chores in your home. Right now, it's the chores in our home because I created it and then put it up as a template that you can go in and modify. So when you get that stuff off of your plate and you know, like deep down, you're like, oh yeah, it's going to be taken care of, then you only have to worry about what you need to do on certain days of the week. And then everything else is taken care of by your kids, your partner, whoever else you have coming to help you. If you hire a housekeeper, if you hire a laundry person, whatever it is, you know you're supported. And that is going to help you so much. I cannot even tell you. It has changed my life just having my kids step up and do a few more chores and having the assigned days and assigned tasks. And then for my two youngest, who are now 10 and 8, they have magnets that they put on there. So I laminate it and I put it on my fridge, and they have magnets. So they have morning chores, they have their after school chores, and then they have their evening chores. And I'm talking basics like floss your teeth, brush your teeth, wipe kitchen counters is part of their job. Their job's also to vacuum the stairs, fold laundry is one of theirs, just like little things like that that they can do at their age. So all of it is like very age appropriate for them. And it's great because I only have to worry about vacuuming 1 day a week and laundry 1 day a week. That's it. Those are like my household tasks. And then of course I love to clean. So like I'll scrub my bathroom, I'll mop the floors, but like my girls take turns mopping the floors every night. So we have a VOP. It's a vacuum mop, but we call it VOPing. And they take turns every single night. They just trade off and that's their chore. And so allowing yourself to know that it's okay to one, pass it off, two, also let go of the fact that it's probably not going to be done as well as you would like it done. But when it's getting done and you were not going to do it anyways, it feels better. I can tell you that much. I had to let go of a lot of perfectionism. And there was also some like, go try that again. That was a crap job. I didn't say it like that, but I thought it in my head. Okay. So, running on autopilot, we're done with that. We're going to create a task list and a chore chart to kind of get this off. And then I just want to talk a little bit about breath work and what breath work does because I've had a few people, they're like, we've been talking about breath work and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I could just like breathe and think about my breath and it was going to change everything. And I'm like, yes, and like breath work is that. It's thinking about your breath, it's being intentional about your breath, but there's also the science behind it. And so I think that when I talk about breath work to a lot of people, especially recently, like going to all these networking events, she's like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize like all I needed was to just take a deep breath. Like I am not the girl who is like reminding you to take a deep breath and that's going to cure everything. So just know that a good deep breath, a good few deep breaths is great. And it's going to help you a ton if you take a few pauses throughout your day to take the deep breaths. But let's talk about the science behind it. If you're one of those sciencey people who cares, I am just like, is this going to help me? Yes, great. Let's try this. And that is what I did with breathwork when I jumped into the certification program. It was like just days after my dad had passed. And um, that was a traumatic experience. I was looking for something to help me heal. And I came across Pause Breathworks website and I don't know why I even booked a call. I didn't know the certification program was open, but I booked a call, hopped on the phone. She was a phenomenal girl. We're actually still friends, but she was telling me all about breath work and what it can do for you. And I was like, yeah, okay. But then she was like, well, and it's science backed. Like we kind of had that talk. And that's like kind of what got me is I was like, okay, there's science behind it. Cause I am not a super woo person. I'm getting a little wooier, but I'm not like floating in the clouds and riding on stars. Like that's just not me. And when I jumped into this breathwork program, like literally days after I watched my dad take his last breath, it was like watching him take his last breath gave me my first. Like it was just such an incredible experience and one that I really never want to go through again. But my life has changed. I have changed. I am a very different person than I was before I started the breathwork program. I did not anticipate the changes that I would receive, that I would go through, I just didn't even think that I would come out the other side a completely different person. And it was wild. And I just remember, and it was only 3 months into the certification program where she had us stop and reflect on where we were in October when we started and where we were now, which was January. And holy cow, to be able to look back and be like, wow, I am not the same human inside. And that is what I want for you. But I do want to tell you a little bit of like why breathwork helps you. Breathwork helps you, I've already said the one, like it helps you get out of survival mode. It actually will bypass the survival brain, the survival part of your brain, so that you can tap into the truest essence of you. Because if you have something that you want to create in your life or something that you want to change, and let's just say you're so afraid that your mom is not going to approve or your sister is not going to approve or whatever, you that's like a survival mechanism that you learned as a child. This is how I survived in my house. And therefore, I need to keep doing that. I need to keep people pleasing because if I step out of this, I'm going to die. That's basically what your brain thinks. And so the breath work helps you bypass that so that you can learn what you deeply, deeply desire to create in your life. And then it activates. So breathwork actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. And so it's going to activate that so that you can calm your body and mind. It's going to help you like lower your heart rate. It reduces blood pressure. It reduces stress hormones like your cortisol, right? Cortisol is like something that we don't want staggering amounts of. And so being able to reduce that, I mean, it can help weight, anxiety, depression. It can help so much. And so, yeah, regular breath work significantly reduces the cortisol. Okay. It also improves oxygen flow to the brain, which enhances what? Focus. So if you also struggle like me, you struggle to focus. And proper breathing, which we do in breathwork, and I teach you all the breath patterns. This is like part of the membership. We do 2 breathwork workshops per month, and then you get all the recordings of the workshops that we've done so that you can do it in between. If you have time to do it every single day, I say do it. And I have short little breathworks in there. I have longer breathworks. The workshops typically last an hour, but the breathing portion is about 20 to 25 minutes, somewhere in there. So just like so you have an idea of what's in the breathwork collective. That is a range of breath works for you so that you can fit it into your life instead of being like, oh my gosh, I don't have an hour every single day. I breathe for about 10 to 15 minutes a day. Just depends. Sometimes 20, but that 10-minute mark is like so perfect for me. Okay, so it's going to help reduce feelings of overwhelm. It's going to help shift your body from a state of stress to calm. It truly helps relax your body. It is wild. Um, and then it also helps bring down, so it helps your whole nervous system. If you've heard the term like nervous system regulation, your nervous system is like what gives you fight or flight. It's what keeps you on high alert to make sure that there's no threats like near you that are going to come out and get you, right? Like if you've ever heard like the tiger's going to attack, like how we used to have to live when we were like cavemen or something. And they always had to be on high alert because they didn't want to get eaten by an animal. Well, this is going to like calm all of that down. It's going to calm your stress down. It's going to balance your nervous system out and get you out of that like overactive state so that you can come to a place of calm. And it will change your life. It will change who you are. The other like things that breathwork has changed for me is our kids were sent here to trigger us. Like I am pretty positive our kids were sent here to trigger us, and I no longer get quite as triggered as I used to. I used to get super triggered by snarky comments my teenager would make or things that my kids would do or whatever, and I don't get triggered anymore. I don't get, and what I mean by triggered is like when your kid says something and you just like want to smack them, or your little boy comes in the door and he's like throwing his backpack and his shoes and he's like squilling through the house making these awful like noises that you've never even heard before and don't want to hear again. This The triggers of all of that, it's like I can now like walk up and just be like, yo dude, let's calm our energy. Can we calm our energy? Can you take a deep breath with me right now and calm our energy? And we get to start to teach our kids to be in control. This is where like not nervous system, like emotional regulation comes in too. When you are not triggered, you're not snapping at your kids, right? Are you the mom that snaps at her kids? Because I certainly was. I'd be like, fine, 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 fine. And then I would just like blow a gasket. Fine, 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 fine. But it's like we're constantly trying to like stuff it. Like, no, this isn't the mom I want to be. I'm going to stuff it down. No, this isn't the one mom I want to be. I'm going to stuff it down. And then we like explode one day, right? Like the rising lava. So we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore because you are now a more regulated version of yourself. You get to show up as the mom and woman that you desire to be, and you have a very calm nervous system. So instead of like reacting to life, you're just responding. Just like, yeah, let's bring our energy down around that. Yeah, no big deal. Like that's not imminent. That's not an imminent threat right there. We're going to be okay. So I want you to really decide like where do you want to find the calm in your life? And these are all the ways. I feel like I just like fire hosed you with a whole bunch of like solutions and examples as to like why you're not being able to calm yourself down. But the main thing is here is it all starts with you. It all starts with you. It all starts within. So don't be looking at like, oh, maybe I'll just go sit at the coffee shop and I'll feel zen, or oh, maybe I'll go do this. These are all great things. And yes, they will absolutely help. So like you do you, boo. But if you really want to calm your nervous system down, if you really want to find that like internal state of like peace and flow and alignment and like your truest self, breath work is the most beautiful place to start. It is the most perfect tool that you can gift yourself. And so come join me in the Breathwork Collective. The link for it is below, but we do 2 workshops per month. We have the next one coming up. I think I can't remember when this comes out and when the next workshop is, but it should be this week or next. But come and join us, sign up. You get a free 7-day trial right now, and that will be going away soon, but you get a free 7-day trial. So hop in. That's going to end in October, the option to have the free trial. But come and jump in and see if you like it. If you don't like it, then you can just cancel. Like, no big deal. But give yourself an opportunity to come try it, and just know that like your very first breathwork workshop is, your brain's gonna be like, what are we doing? This is weird. I hate this. This girl's watching us breathe. Like, your brain will offer up all the things, and that's totally welcome and totally fine. I always say, give yourself a couple workshops to see how you like it. Give yourself a really good fighting chance to try it out. And you're really gonna start to find that calm within yourself, and you're gonna stop chasing calm in all the wrong places and start finding it in the right places, which is within you. And that is what breathwork helps you do, is find it within you. So, all right. I will talk to you next time. Please, if you have a friend that would love this or benefit from these solutions, please send it to her. Drop me a review below. They are so helpful in helping me grow the podcast, and I will talk to you later.